Okay, well, welcome everyone to CV Mastery for Accountants Going Global. In the next 20 minutes, I'll share exactly how to make your CV work on the international stage. It's essential that your CV showcases your skills, experience, and adaptability in a way that resonates with international employers. This session is going to be all about CV mastery, transforming your CV into a passport that opens doors for exciting international career possibilities. We'll cover key strategies, best practice to make your CV stand out, and demonstrate your readiness to thrive in a global accounting role. By the end, we'll have the tools to help craft your CV that positions you as a top candidate for international opportunities. Yes, you're right. I said 20 minutes. As you can see, we have left lots of time for Q&As. So we usually have many. Please add them to the Q&A section as we go. There is Q&A, an option to fill in there, and we will answer them at the end. My name's Abigail Stevens, and I'm the founder and managing director of Think Global Recruitment. It's the longest running consultancy that specializes in international accounting and financial recruitment across the entire globe. We're really proud to be celebrating 25 years. It's our birthday this year, so that's very exciting. We have assisted over 2,000 professionals to move to 63 different countries, and that's 43 different nationalities, represented even by our audience here today. Our vision is improving lives. We all firmly believe in that. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing the webinar today, is that we like to give back and we like to give some free tools to people to help them really do well in the environment that we work in. Our expertise in creating the best CVs has been gained from viewing, presenting, and receiving feedback of millions of CVs. I suggest you grab a pen and paper and write down tips. There's going to be many. However, we will upload the video to our, as we do with all our webinars, to our YouTube channel. So we'll send you a link to that afterwards, should you want to go back over these tips or share them with somebody else. Think of your CV as your passport. It's the first impression and the document that decides whether doors will open or close. International employers have different expectations, so CV must be clear, tailored, and ready for your global audience. A year ago, surveys showed employers received about 118 applicants per job. We're now hearing of roles attracting thousands, over 1,000. It's crazy. With all CVs people are sifting through, all those CVs, you can imagine you've only got 7 seconds to make a good impression and make it count. Think about it. Typically, companies only shortlist 3 to 5 for an interview out of those 1,000 applicants. It's a very low percentage of those applicants that get to interview. So let's show you how to make sure you are one of those applicants. So step one, let's think about a clear structure. Keep your CV to 2 or 3 pages where possible. It may be you've got a lot longer career, maybe 20 years, and you might have to go to that 3 to 4, but try and keep it concise. On the flip side, one is not enough. You'll be missing key informations that employers are seeking. They often do word association and matching, and AI does that as well. Remember, people are not psychic, and AI can't guess what you've done from just a job title. Use simple, consistent format and clear headings. Recruiters skim through CVs in seconds. So you want yours to be easy to scan and immediately professional. Step two, title and overview. Start with a clear professional title like Chartered Accountant, Audit Manager, or you might want to add in there something like Award-winning Chartered Accountant, Audit Manager to make you stand out more. That's the first thing they're going to see. I'll show you an example of this in a bit. Then add in a short career overview and bullet points, your years of experience, your specialism, and any international exposure. This sets the scene before they dive into the detail. Step three, personal details. List your name, contact details, and nationality. I can't tell you how many people send us CVs with no contact details on. Always include your professional designation, ACA, CA, ACCA, and state your visa or mobility status up front. You can add your professional LinkedIn if you want, but do make sure your LinkedIn is professional. Step four, we're talking about career history. Employers don't want a job description copied and pasted. They want to see things like achievements. Use action verbs like led, delivered, improved. Qualify results wherever you can and highlight global clients or cross-border work. When we say qualify results, it might be by talking about where you've achieved recognition, where there's been an outcome that has been really positive. Education qualifications. Your accounting qualification is your global currency, I should say. So make sure it's listed there really clearly, along with your degree and any memberships or certifications. Language skills are obviously valuable, especially for Europe, so highlight those as well. And keep history short, but do include it. School history, I should say. So your school history should be there, but short. Skills and extras. Well, list your technical skills, IFRS, US GAAP, PCOB, SOX, any of those, any audit tools you've used. List the industry sectors you've worked with. Again, something people miss off all the time in their CVs. It makes a big difference as to how applicable you are to the role. Add leadership experience such as managing teams, international exposure, IT systems, etc. are always great as well. Now, one golden rule I'm going to give you is never lie. Employers check and dishonesty will end your application immediately. It comes out. The next point I was going to say, number 7 is hobbies and interests. Now, we really do encourage you to include hobbies, especially when you're moving overseas. It helps employers see you as a person, not just an accountant, not just somebody on a bit of paper. And they're wondering, if they're wondering if you're going to settle in, they can relate your hobbies and interests and what you like doing outside of work to the things that you do in that location. Shared interest can spark interview questions as well and make you more memorable. I promised to show you an example here of, say, your overview, your clear heading, and then some bullet points. These highlight your skills and employers regularly seek. These are the things that we get asked all the time from employers. Do they have X, Y, and Z? So we highlight this. So take a wee look at this and see which of those things that you should be including on your overview. Remember, you've only got 7 seconds to make a good impression, so you want to make sure it counts. And don't forget to add those Q&As to the Q&A section. It'll be great to get some for the end there, and we can tailor anything that you want to ask about the CVs. I can also answer other questions to international career moves. Okay, so on your CV, employers are looking for a clear career progression and stability, especially in the international market, where they're investing a lot in visas and relocation. They want to see that you will stay in the role for at least 2 to 3 years. If you have been promoted, outline your year's experience at each level. So include that first year as a trainee, the second year where you're an associate, a senior, a supervisor, assistant manager, etc. Show all those years. It helps. Concise achievement-focused bullet points are preferred over long personal statements. Many people in this day and age are not used to reading big, long paragraphs anymore. We've got our 140 characters on social media, so keep it concise and use bullet points. It makes it much easier for those readers that are skimming. Confident is good, but avoid exaggeration. Grammatical and spelling errors are a major turn-off for recruiters. Use tools such as Grammarly. It's free. If you haven't heard of Grammarly, I've put the logo there. Go and download it. It will sort out your spelling mistakes and your grammar. There's no excuse anymore, really, to have that on the CV. Overuse of buzzwords without evidence to back them up is a bit of a red flag. Phrases like team player, hard worker, they're also boring and generic, and they don't make you stand out. Instead, prove these qualities with achievements. You can say, I'm a team player and this is proved by, but better just to put those achievements in there. Avoid jargon or acronyms not understood globally. Remember, in the international market, different languages particularly aren't going to understand these acronyms so much. If you have career gaps, explain them briefly. Don't leave them blank. Copying job descriptions verbatim is also not that impressive. Another turn off, fancy graphics. Long hobby sections are not necessary, although it is good to include what you like doing. And keep a focus on your relevant skills and accomplishments. We will help you with all of these things when we work with you as well. Here's a good question. The buzzing question at the moment everyone's got to ask is, should you use AI? My answer is yes, but with caution. Okay. AI is great for drafting, generating ideas, and improving word choice. It saves time and beats writer's block. But you must check every word. You must check every single word. Make sure it's factually accurate and written in your voice. In your voice is very important as well. Otherwise, it's really obvious that someone else or AI has written it. Consider AI as your draft that's there for you to edit. Okay. Eliminate obvious words and dashes AI is known for as well. You can Google on the internet and see which words they are that you want to take out and replace with words that you would use a human. Okay. Next very important point is do not scatter your CV. One of the biggest mistakes is sending your CV to hundreds of jobs. Employers can tell when it's generic. Instead, put yourself in the reader's shoes and tailor your CV for every role. Show why you are a right fit. Quality over quantity wins every time. If you register with Think Global Recruitment, we tailor every applicant we make for you. And we make sure because we know what the employers are looking for. We've already taken a personalized description from them. They've told us what the key points are that are important. They will be highlighted front and center. In the current market, we encourage you not to apply for roles where experience is not as listed in the requirements. Many companies are now using AI to check through applications. And if you're rejected, this can create an automatic rejection by AI for the next 12 months. So even if a role comes along that you are a perfect fit for, you're going to be automatically rejected because they rejected you for a previous role in the last 12 months. Again, if we're working with you, we encourage everybody to send us links to jobs they've seen on the internet, and we can tell you, A, if we've got a contact there and we think we can get you an interview, or if there's anything there that would stop you getting that interview so that you don't go applying for these jobs that are not going to be relevant for you, and you can wait for when that employer has exactly the right role for you. Okay, a bit of a whirlwind. We spent hours getting these CVs right, but I thought what we could do is give you a nice long Q&A section so that you can ask those questions so that we can tailor it to what you're really interested in. But remember, your CV is your global passport. A clear title and overview makes a strong first impression. Honesty and hobbies add real value. Tailor your applications instead of scattering them everywhere. And yes, AI can help, but only if you take the time to read it and personalize it. Now over to you. What questions do you have and would you like me to answer? Okay. So, first person's asked me, should I split education and qualifications? Yes, we do split qualifications and education on CVs because the qualification is the key thing that most people are looking for. In the international arena in this day and age, unfortunately, you do need to have a professional qualification to move to most countries if you don't have a passport or a visa that enables you to work there. It's that the governments require to get you the points, enough points to get your visa. So having your qualification really standing out is a really great thing. So put that at the top and then you can have education underneath that. I hope that answers that question. Okay. Can everyone get access to the Q&A section okay? Please do keep putting in your questions there. Okay, and I've got another anonymous one, which was asking again about the size of the CV. Earlier on, I said that 2 to 3 pages is great. 1 page is too small. So yeah, there is a myth going around that 1 page is what we need. The with a CV, if you put the 1 page, it's just not enough information. So do feel free to go to 2 pages. What are the skills we can show on a CV for the global market? Okay, so if you're looking at the skills for a global market, in fact, I'll quickly go back to this slide here, which I think helps with it a little bit. But you can see that you should have your qualification listed, which is really important to get that ticket. You should show definitely the type of industry sectors you've worked with. You should show the accounting standards that you've worked with. So list all of those. If you've got a bias in one sector, also you can put the percentage of time you've spent in that bias as well. The other skills are maybe the size teams you've worked with, if you've worked with listed companies or non-listed companies, and those types of things are all really great to include as a skill on your CV. Okay. Um, Are you able to share sample CVs and related roles? Yeah, absolutely. If you write to us, we've got a set of sample CVs for different backgrounds. So if you're a tax accountant, if you've got one job, if you've had several jobs, corporate finance, audit, etc. So absolutely happy to share those sample CVs with you. And if we're working with you, we'll give you advice on your CV, and if it's not particularly great, we'll give you tips on how to improve that. And we recreate your CV in our format, but using all your words. So we'll be chasing you for the things that are missing as well. And sometimes we give you a template if it needs sort of redesigning. One big area, actually, I should say, is that sometimes people clump work experience together. So they might say, "Oh, I've worked for KPMG, PwC, and EY, and the experience is all very similar. So I'm just going to put EY, KPMG, whatever dates, and under that, a generic, this is the experience I gained at these places." Employers don't like that. They want to know what you got at what time in your history of your career. So please do put the first employer under that exactly what you did, the next employer under that what you did, even if it sounds a little bit repetitive. But remember, if we're talking about achievements under these things, they're not going to be repetitive because they're going to be different at each stage and each place that you are at. So yes. Is my picture a red flag for any employer? I don't think in this day and age it is. I think a picture is good to include on a CV. There is differing opinions on this, but from my point of view, if it's a professional one, and you're smiling and it's appealing, then please do, feel free to include your picture on there. Think Global Recruitment actually encourages you to use our tool. We have a special video interview tool, and we ask you to record an introductory video on there, because if you think about it, employers are getting 1,000 CVs, and if five people send a video introduction with it and the video introductions are good, they can skip looking at that 995 other CVs and go forward, because you've actually just given yourself a first interview and introduced yourself to them. So things like that are really good tools. So somebody's saying here that they don't have the accounting qualification, but they spend a lot of time in bookkeeping. Are there similar jobs out there? Um, it's very hard to go international in that way. And your local market, yeah, absolutely no problem. But on the international market, people can only get work visas, and also will only take that risk and the cost of hiring internationally for people they can't get on the local market. And there are a lot of people without qualifications on the local markets, just about everywhere in the globe, the people that can do the bookkeeping, etc. So I really encourage you to go and get that passport, which is your qualification, whether it's ACCA, CA, CPA, ACA, all of those qualifications are internationally recognized. Um, So, yes, somebody's just mentioning that one of our consultants that's left, they've had discussions with. We do have your details on file if you gave us permission to keep them on file. We then check in with you every now and again to see if you're still happy for us to keep them on file. But if the consultant has left, please do feel free to drop us a line and just say, "Are you still considering me?" The market is very quiet at the moment. It's the quietest I've ever seen in the 30 years I've been recruiting internationally for accountants. Employers are being very particular about what they're looking for, and the skill match. The only thing I can say is in 30 years of I've been doing international recruitment, we have had several downturns in the market. And usually following a downturn is a nice positive move forward where there's lots of opportunities. Hang in there, keep your CV looking good, keep staying with the employer you're at so you've got longevity on your CV, which is so important. Grit your teeth and there will be something around the corner for you. We can't tell you whether it's this year or next year. The global influences, such as what is in the States, the tariffs being all undecided, businesses are in a bit of limbo, um, potential, things not going on so well in other areas of the world, politically, economically, or even potential of war, etc. These things are all making it a bit uncertain at the moment. So it's a real shame. But don't stop applying to us. We can let you know and we can keep your details until the right role is there. A very good question. Is there a difference between a resume and a CV? No, there isn't really. The UK tends to use the word CV. I think Europe does as well. America uses resume more than often than not. But most people will interchange those and understand what it is. So you can choose what you want to call it, whether it's a resume or a CV. Totally understand that. Okay. Um, current options for audit senior, associate, assistant manager roles on the international market. There are opportunities at the moment. We are closing out opportunities in Bermuda and the Caribbean. There are some opportunities in lovely Malta, 300 days of sunshine a year in Europe. So you're getting European experience. There are some roles in the UK, just depending, all of these depend on your experience. So it's really important that so that we get your CV and we'll look at it and it all goes case by case. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, Okay, how do I advise the documentation of career gaps due to personal situations? Okay, that's a really, really good question. So literally, if you go through your career, you're going with the most recent job first, and then you go backwards through all your jobs. If there's been a gap somewhere, literally put it in almost like a job. So you can just put career gap. You could be for family, it could be for personal reasons. It could be I was a carer for somebody. Whatever you feel the situation is that you want to personally give, then you can put that in there. But you can list it. It might be career gap traveling. It might be career gap that you have been seeking a new role post being made redundant. If you are made redundant and that has produced a job looking too short, etc., please put reason for leaving in there as well. And if you were made redundant along with or let go or whatever your terminology is in your country, along with other people, put in there as part of a group redundancy, etc. So, or cost cutting exercise by the business, so that they know it literally is not just you. Um, so yes, so we've got that career gap one done. Do we only focus on international moves across borders, or do we help with specific countries as well, within countries as well? Our specialism is mainly moving internationally. We have a few exceptions to that, like people who have been in a country maybe for a couple of years and they're from another country. We will help you with your next relocation within that, or your next role within that country. We do high travel roles, say for internal audit, where there's a lot of traveling going on. And from time to time, we might, if it's a real specialism, something that one of our international employers have really asked us to help with, we might get involved in that local to local market. So yeah, so you'll see roles advertised and don't not apply because you're local. We will consider you alongside everybody else. Um, So somebody said that they submitted their CV in the past and they've been promoted several times. That's congratulations, well done on that. So yeah, get your CV across to us. You can send your CV to mail@thinkgr.com and it will be picked up. We will get back to you if we've got a live role, or if we haven't, we'll just say it's okay to keep your details on file and our system will be updated immediately. And we'd love to hear from you. So yeah, please do that. Well done again on that promotion. Um, okay, looks like a complicated one. So someone's got audit experience, um, experience as an intern for a year, but struggling to integrate their achievements on their CV. How does someone improve risk? Uh, Someone say improve risk management by 50%. How is that measured? I'm a little bit confused by that question. I might need to see your CV. But just say it as it is. If you've improved risk management by 50%, um, then say, that there's things like, we'll have people who say to us that they've improved systems and processes, they've used certain tools to do that, and it's reduced the time it takes to complete an audit by 50%. They're really good. Throw stats in there, please do. People love to hear about how you're going to improve things for clients and how you're going to improve things for the business. So put them in there, definitely. And reducing time is a great way to do it. Um, so, um, So somebody saying they haven't seen jobs on our page recently for Bermuda, Caribbean, Cayman Islands, Barbados. They should be on there. I'll check that after this, but they should be on our webpage. We're not. So you'll see them on the individual consultants pages, and you'll see jobs coming onto our LinkedIn company page. We're not using the LinkedIn paid adverts anymore because we've got quite a good following, and we felt that our money could be invested elsewhere. There's honesty for you. So apply directly, apply to mail@thinkgr.com, say what you're looking for, and we will be looking at. We do code you up on the system if you're happy for us to keep you on the system. And we never share your CV without a third party, without your permission. So please feel free to, feel safe sending it to us. So opportunities for non-audit roles. Yes, we do get opportunities for non-audit roles. I'm working on some tax roles at the moment in the UK. We've got some insolvency roles across the globe. We've got some transaction services roles. So yes, we do work on non-audit roles. Audit is often the one you'll see like very much on the web page because that's where they need the most people and where there's a bigger shortage. But amongst there, we do work with other accountancy roles for qualified accountants. Um, so um, I don't again understand the next question, I'm afraid. If the individual can write to me, that would be great. Their gap is a settlement agreement. I'm not sure what one of those is, sorry. So maybe if you want to write to me directly, I can try and work that one out or meet with you. Coming up to the last couple of questions now, but please add them if you do have more. We've still got a few minutes. Um, so we have open positions at the moment in Ireland and the Channel Islands? Very few. They really are tight and tightening up. We've just filled one of the big four firms, all of their audit roles for this year for the Channel Islands. So they don't have any, but yeah, limited. Okay. Um, this is a good question. How do we help people move across industries, say non-financial services to financial services and vice versa? Um, it is harder to do that. Employers typically will be employing you for the experience you have. However, if you've got a real passion to be in a certain industry, it may be feasible to do it. And we have succeeded in doing that in some circumstances. In the current market, I'd probably say it's going to be harder um, than it would be in a market where we've got high demand for candidates and a shortage. But we the way I would encourage you to do it is to actually in your own firms right now, your own companies right now, ask if you can get a secondment and anything you want to be doing, try and get a secondment because even small amounts of experience in that area can really, really help and boost. Um, you mentioned accounting roles. Can people with Big Four experience? Okay, other accounting roles. So I'm not sure exactly which roles you're meaning by other accounting roles and Big Four experience. And typically, people will hire you for the experience you've got, as I mentioned. On the international market, it's very rare to get, say, financial accounting roles, management accounting roles, and that's purely just because they can employ people from the local market. So most people would take the move overseas if that's your passion to go overseas, get international experience, which is so good for your CV and it's so life enhancing. Go overseas in the discipline that you have, and which is much easier to do it that way as well. Thinking about it, they say the three most difficult things to do in your life are to change jobs, get married, and move house. Well, you're going to be moving house and changing jobs, and in some cases, we get people who've just got married as well. And you don't want to set yourself up to fail. So go in the discipline you know into that country, learn the way they do it in that country, and then 18 months, 2 years down the line, you can make an apply for other roles to do, or do it internally within your current firm sooner. Thank you very much, the person about the settlement. That's great. Okay, a trend for sustainability audit jobs. Something really weird, and this is in Europe and UK. We had a lot of call for a lot of ESG jobs, and those types of jobs. And now they've sort of gone a little bit on hold. I think people are still gathering what they really want to be doing in that area, and with all the other stuff that's going a bit uncertain, it's taking a bit of a back burner. It'll definitely be something really important in the future. And do future-proof your skill set. Start thinking about how your future is going to be a safe. We're seeing some of the firms, and some are saying totally the opposite. So, for example, PwC UK brought out a news release saying they're going to bring in less trainees because they don't need people at the lower levels now because they're using AI to do the job. Yesterday, I spoke to a medium tier large UK firm, and they've said they would never do that. They see people in a service industry as critical. And what they do look for, though, is for people that know how to do use the tools, maybe set up better ways to make things faster, improve system and processes. But by doing that, you can take in more clients and use it for that benefit, not just to wipe out jobs. So yeah, there's a lot of us there, but do skill up in those areas. Like learn what AI does. It's worth learning it of what the best things are about it. There are things that can scare all of us on it, but there are also those things that it does that are good and can improve efficiencies. Um, and can we ensure there's no nationality discrimination, especially in the market? Typically, markets do not have nationality discriminations because they're simply not allowed to. What they do is have experience. They will want experience from similar markets, and that can make a difference. So some company might say to us, "Look, we really need someone to, come from a market that's just like ours." And it may be that, say, the UK wants somebody to come from Australia, New Zealand, or Canada, or South Africa, where it's the same regulatory environment, same sort of client base, etc. Whereas also I might get somebody in a developing market, like in Asia or the Middle East, saying, we need somebody to come from a developing market because the people who are in established markets don't understand the way we work. As far as discrimination goes, we like to think it's not out there, but of course it might be a little bit. I do see a lot of employers, and particularly big organizations, are training anyone involved in the recruitment process on every bias, including the bias, the unbiased, the unbiased bias that they don't know they have. So let's hope that the market's not going to be like that. I mentioned earlier on that we've helped 43 different nationalities move. So I think we've got one of the most multicultural databases out there for recruitment business, which we love. And that's the one thing that keeps us going. It's one of our favorite things about what we do. So yeah, all good. Um, and my last question I'm going to answer, how is the demand for accountants and auditors in Australia and Canada? Okay. Canada, I'll start with first. Canada is a very difficult location to get into, has been for many years, mainly because there's a lot of accountants already in Canada and they're not moving much at the moment. So they're able to fill their roles. However, you can apply for Canadian PR if you've got the right qualifications, and we encourage you to do that if you want to go to Canada, because when you've got Canadian PR, you can move there. There is another one that you could apply, but it doesn't seem to open doors. It's one that allows you, people sell it to you and they start sending it out to accountants saying that you can get this qualification that pre-approves you for a visa. But pre-approving isn't giving you a visa. And for the companies, they don't want to spend all that money on the visa in Canada if they don't need to. Australia, we get roles coming up throughout the year in Australia. I'll add New Zealand to that as well. They are quite fussy and they do tend to want to have very similar market experience. Sometimes they ask you also to pay towards your own relocation or pay your own relocation. They'll maybe pay your visa. They don't often pay for spousal visas, etc. over there because it's a very expensive process for them to hire you across the globe. Okay, all right. So, um, I am going to close now because we've come to the end. I'm sorry if I missed any questions. Please feel free to send them at mail@thinkjar.com. We can answer them, especially if you put them into context with your details and your background. We'll know what we're talking about. And we would love to hear from you if you'd like to register with us. When you register with us, we will tailor your CVs, as I've mentioned. We'll talk you through all the roles that are there. We'll talk about timelines, etc. And we'll also help you with interview practice. We send you preparation notes for any interviews you get, and we'll do a practice interview because we know some of the questions that companies are likely to ask. So, yeah, and talking about that, our next webinar is going to be on how to prepare for an interview and deliver the best interviews out there. So, for the global market in particular, you'll get after this a survey to ask how you feel that the presentation's gone today. Please feel free to answer and register. There'll be a registration link for the next one. And as I mentioned, this will be in YouTube, so do you want to go back over anything? Thank you very much to everyone that has attended today. It's been lovely to have you along. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.